by the power of Grayskull.
Hello, this is just a quick review for UFC 3 on the PS4. I know I've been late to the party, like again, I waited to get this because I was playing other games. I'm playing Kingdom Come Deliverance. But I had number 2, UFC 2, and I loved that. I bought the season pass so I could get Mike Tyson and Baz Rutten and Bruce Lee, obviously. And one good thing about this is because I had done that on the previous game, when I loaded this up, it said, "Thank you for being a returning customer," kind of thing. We'll give you Bruce Lee for free. So I just thought I'd stick them on because I like the graphics. That's what I'll talk about first. The graphics are great. The likenesses. I mean, I've got George St. Pierre versus Bruce Lee, and they both look exactly like they do, like in real life, the real counterparts. So, I mean, I like the graphics. If you follow the UFC and you know anything about it, then you'll know that like certain people, they're not characters. I mean, the real people. So, like the certain fighters have the real life likenesses, so that's a nice little touch, because there's nothing worse than, like, say, having a character or a real life fighter and they look nothing like them. So I mean, that's good for graphics. I enjoy that. But at the end of the day, I mean, I found it hard at first. I didn't quite like it, only because they've swapped the buttons around. That's the only thing I didn't like it. They've like changed the block button from R1 to R2, so there's slight variations of the buttons, and now in order to do like an uppercut, you have to press like square and triangle together, you know what I mean, and that kind of shit, or square and X and triangle and circle. So you've got to press double button combinations to do certain moves. You have to press L1 and R1. Like, L1's still your modifier, but instead of R1 being block, like I said, R2's block, so R1's like another modifier, so you can press L1 and R1 together in order to do like spinning back fists or whatever. But that just depends on what training camp that you go to. You know what I mean? So it's one of those things where they've changed the story mode, like the career mode, which is what I like. Because what they've done is it's more based in real life, where you've got to go to certain fight camps or training camps, and they'll learn you different moves. So if you go to a boxing fight camp, then you'll learn more boxing moves. If you go to a wrestling camp or jiu-jitsu or whatever, you learn the corresponding moves to whatever style that you prefer to be. So it's one of those things where it's more real life, so I like that, how they've changed it, and there's different fight camps, and you've also got to promote your fights and stuff, which I'll come into later. But this is like me made up character, Randolph Morris. I just made him up, and the reason I've got the dreadlocks is just because I like the animation when you're getting kicked in the head and that, like the hair goes all over the place. So that's one of the main thing. This clip, I just like the blood. I mean, if you look at the blood on the mat, I mean, this is the same as UFC 2, so there's no different there. But if you look at the little replay here, I mean, again, for the hair, like just for the replays, and when you're taking big, heavy hits to the head, the animations are good. But I just like the blood and the way the graphics are. You're getting like blood on your shorts, you get even blood on your back, depending on how the fight goes. Then if you look how fucked up he is, and like the blood on his back and that, and how fucked up his face is, so they've kept the same. But I don't like that. Just say our the hair was like coming through the graphics. But like I say, this is the career mode, and you get like contract objectives as well, like things you have to fill out. They've greatly improved the career mode. That's what I like about it. They've greatly improved it from the first one. The first, like UFC 2, I mean, that was bullshit the way they done that. It was just generic. You go do your training, but on that you actually had to do your training, whereas you had to go onto the heavy bag and you had to pull off certain combinations which learnt you the buttons, whereas this, it just simulates it. If you just want to do like heart and charisma and chin, like strength, like your stats, then you have to go, you just press X and it'll simulate it and just put your stats up, so you don't actually do any training as such. You can spar, which is I suppose just as good, but you can fuck your fitness up. If you overtrain, then it goes against you. This is how many weeks you can pick, how many weeks of the training camp that you want. And like I said before, you can promote fights. You can like get the hype up. But obviously it's like real life. If you spend more time, like if you've only got 4 weeks and you spend 3 of those weeks promoting the fight, you get the hype up so everybody knows who you are, but you don't get any training in, so then you might lose. But if you spend your whole training time, like obviously in the gym, then nobody's going to give a fuck about the fight because you haven't been promoting it. So it's like you've got to try and find like a balance of what you want to do. It depends who you're fighting. Again, it's very, I like it like that because they've made it more in depth. It's not just a case of spamming X and, you know, just getting through the training as quickly as you can. Even though this is simulated training, like I say, if you look there, you've got a certain amount of points. You get 100 points to spend every week. So each exercise costs a certain amount. So you've only got a certain amount of points. So you've got to choose still. But it's not that bad because you do get to promote. You get to spar. You get to learn moves like I'm doing here, whereas you pick a different sparring partner and then it shows you the little ticks of what you've ticked off and things that you can unlock, and then it says in the red bar at the top what you'll actually have to do. So you have to do certain objectives in order to unlock moves, which is good because that's different to the way it was last time. Last time you just physically saved up your points and then bought whatever moves you wanted. So it depends how you want to fight. It depends the kind of style. Do you want to be a wrestler, a submission artist? Do you want to be a striker? Do you want to be an all-rounder? You get a chance to actually choose what you want to do. So this one I've got to hit like 100% damage with head kicks. And then once I've done that, I can unlock the move that he would have trained us. And then you get to see I've unlocked the lead side kick, the cage flying knee, and the body roundhouse. And you get 2 perks as well. So you get a chance to to configure your buttons this way, assign the moves. But like I say, it's a nice little, see how it's got the yellow exclamation mark, so you know exactly which moves you've just unlocked. You don't have to trawl through every fucking option to look for any differences, which is what it was like on UFC 2. This way they've made it a lot more user friendly. You can just, you know exactly which moves you've unlocked, and it shows you a little example of what the move is there in the little video. So I like it. They've made a lot of good changes, but I still think there's lots of room to improve. I find it hard. I mean, I'm fighting on normal difficulty, but if you're playing on anything harder than that, it's absolutely solid. You've got to keep, this is your perks. Before I go off track, this is your perks. You just get to assign your perks. Obviously read to see what it says before you assign them, because you've only got 5 slots. But if you're not used to conserving your stamina, and you're just trying to button bash and just go out punching and punching and punching, you use up all your stamina. He'll just get you with 1 head kick and then he'll knock you out, because they have got flash knockouts where if you're low on stamina, or even if you've got enough stamina and you get a decent head kick to the head, you can just be knocked out like that. So it's realistic in that sense. I mean, because you can get knocked out just even if you're full strength, but I don't know, it spoils it in a slight way, because you have to, it's like stick and move. You go in, punch, kick, do a little combo, and then you back away, waiting for your health to build up, and then you go back in. I suppose it's more realistic than just arcadey, like button bashing. But like I say, it's sometimes when you're first testing it out, if you first buy the game and you've played UFC 2, especially because they've swapped the buttons round, it's frustrating because you'll lose the first couple of fights and you'll think, oh, it's fucking shit this. But you've got to persevere, and if you stick with it, then you'll start to like it. Because I started my own career first of all, and I was just getting my ass kicked all the time, and I thought, oh, this is shit this, I might take it back. But I started again. I created Randolph Morris, and I just thought, fuck it. I put him down to welterweight because my first fights, my first character was heavyweight, and they're very slow. They're powerful, but they're slow, and you don't get much stamina. If you change to welterweight or something like a lighter, your punches and your kicks are a lot faster, so it feels better. It's more playable. So you get a chance to like high more combos, and you don't have to worry about your stamina as much. So I would advise you to start on a really light weight. And on the old one, the UFC 2, if you start off on a lighter weight class, then you'll get so far, and then it lets you upgrade to the next weight class, and you can move up. So obviously, if you start in heavyweight, then you've got nowhere else to go. Whereas if you start somewhere light, you could start really light, like bantamweight or something like that, and then just work your way right through through the ranks. You'll get more longevity out of the game that way. You know what I mean? So, and this is like the creation. The creation shit, I think they haven't changed anything from number 2, and they've hired in a couple of more tattoo options. But apart from that, everything's the same. And it's so disappointing, because if they took a leaf out of 2K's WWE, and you could see how crazy the customization. Fair enough, you don't want Homer Simpson in there fighting fucking Captain America, but you could have just a lot more options. You could have a lot more entrance options. You could have a lot more music. You should be able to use your own music from a USB or something like that, because there's only certain tracks and all shit. There's only like certain hairstyles and beards and stuff. You should have a lot more options, I think, and it would just make the game a lot more enjoyable. So I mean, you can make do, and I like the tattoos because you can wrap them around the arm and it stretches, and it's not like the WWE where it's like it looks shit if you stretch it too much, it goes pixely. Whereas this, the tattoo and everything's class in that respect, but just the options aren't very good. They could have really improved the options. I think they let themselves down there by not doing that. But like I say, if you like UFC in real life and you like MMA, and it's still a good game, like, so it's definitely worth investing. But I would check it out on eBay or something and pick it up for 20 odd quid, because it's still like 40-50 quid in the shops. But I would definitely recommend to go and get it, like, because it's fun, and especially when you're playing with your mates and that, it's mint. So you'll have a good laugh with it. So that's it really. If you like the look of it, just go and get it. So that's it. See you later.